Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be checking out a video titled "What Shocked Me About German Playgrounds." Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know what could possibly shock you about German playgrounds, but obviously there has to be something that shocks, shocks you about German playground compared to the United States. But I just don't know what it could be, so I'm here shocked as well. But either ways, guys, thank you for watching this video. Any recommendations, leave those in the comment section or click that link in the pinned comment section and you'll be able to recommend videos related to Germany and I'll check them out as soon as possible. Without further ado, let's get right into this video.
Is Germany safer for kids than the US? Why do German children travel to school alone so young? And is it true that German playgrounds are actually built to be dangerous? Let's find out.
Dangerous? What do you mean?
I first came from the US to Germany to work as an au pair, which is basically a nanny abroad. On the first day, I met my host family, and we all went to the playground together. As their 7-year-old, who would soon be my responsibility, climbed up to the top of this somewhat terrifying-looking playground, the parents asked me to join them for a walk across the park. Shouldn't we ask little Nicholas to come with us? I asked. Oh, him? Nah, he'll be fine up there. We'll see him when we come back, they said. That was my first clue that playtime in Germany is a little different than I was used to in the States. I've since learned that German parents just tend to be more relaxed about their children than American parents. For example, I was shocked when I first saw kids in Berlin around age 6 or 7 taking public transport to school by themselves.
That's wicked.
This would never happen where I'm from, but it's pretty normal here. Unlike American children, German children are not typically watched every second. They're expected to learn life skills early and be independent.
Ich habe immer sie machen lassen, ne? Und wenn sie gesagt hat, nee Mama, ich will das alleine machen, nicht festhalten, habe ich das auch nicht gemacht.
Später wollen sie auch nicht immer bei den Eltern sein, dann wollen sie halt die Welt selber entdecken, dann ist man halt in der Nähe, verfolgt es, ich meine, gerade das gehört ja zum Großwerden auch dazu und dann, ja, sollen sie auch ihren eigenen Weg gehen dürfen.
So-called?
I mean, I can't even fault you with this, like, though I'm not a parent, I didn't have any younger siblings. I'm the youngest child. I have no experience with a younger person, okay? I don't have kids and I didn't have any younger sibling. I was the youngest child, right? What I will say is this, coming from a person who has been a child, because everybody has one point been a child, a little tiny baby or whatever, I do believe that freedom is definitely a good thing to give a child, especially when you know the circumstances, so you know the stakes. You're not going to put a 6-year-old child in a car to drive on an Autobahn. You're not going to do that, right? The stakes are not, what you'd say, at that peak or whatever. It's not a valid thing to do, right? But a playground, I mean, it's called a playground for a reason. What are the highest risks there, right? I get it that there can be weird people that pop up and try to, take your kid, but the reality is, outside of that, the most that can happen is a broken arm, which, in my humble opinion, I'm not saying that this is a good thing coming from a guy who has never broken a bone before. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but having public health care, that is available in Germany, I don't really think it's that big of a deal if you break an arm or a leg or something. I don't know. I really don't know, okay? I cannot give real good advice on this shit because, like I said, I'm the youngest sibling, never had anybody below me, in terms of age, and I don't have kids, so yeah, can't do it.
Free-range parenting doesn't exist here in Germany the way it does in the US, because that kind of parenting is just the standard here. So is Germany really that much safer than the States?
Seems.
Growing up in Ohio in the 90s and early 2000s, okay, I was allowed to run around alone with my friends. Now some of my friends are parents themselves and wouldn't think of letting their kids do that. Safety is a big concern for American parents today, especially with all of the frightening headlines about children being abducted. There were around 375,000 reported entries for missing children in the US in 2023. In Germany, it was just over 90,000. Compared to each country's population, though, it works out to be about the same percentage of kids missing.
That's so bad. That's so bad. Like, why would you? Why? Just why? I don't know. Just why? Oh my gosh. Just why though? Like, it's like the most embarrassing thing, you know? Like, I just don't really get it sometimes, but I try to be that guy who understands rather than to judge, you know, because like we're humans, I get it. You know, what somebody does, I'm capable of doing, right? So though I don't do it, doesn't mean that I'm, you know, like spooky clean perfect. It just means that I'm not doing it, right? But I'm very much capable. A guy who commits the M word, you know, take somebody out. Everybody's capable of committing the M word, you know, taking somebody out of, you know what I mean, right? But some just don't do it. So when I see something like this, it kind of makes me like wonder, like, what motivates you to do something like this? What would motivate you to take somebody's child? Like, for what reason? I don't get it. I try to understand, but my human just leads me to what the actual, you know, I just can't understand it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just really embarrassing and stupid. It just makes no sense. Like, what the hell, man? Like,
In both countries, the chances of a child being abducted by a stranger is actually quite small. And the person responsible is usually a parent or family member who doesn't have custody of the child. And in both countries, nearly all missing children are actually recovered. Here in Berlin, I more often hear parents worried about their kids.
So why y'all make me stressed out for no damn reason at all, making me think that some random man, why they make me stressed out thinking that some random ass person took the damn child, bro? Like, they made me stressed out because I was trying to comprehend, like, why the flipping hell would somebody take the kid? And they say 300 in the United States and about 90,000 in Germany. That's a lot, but it's usually the people who don't have custody of the child. But why the hell would you do that either ways? Like, what? That's going to make you worse not have custody of the child. That makes absolutely no logical sense. But anyways, I'm a lot relieved now. You can see that in my expression. I'm a lot more relieved, you know, that that's the reason why the number is there. So, whew.
Crossing a busy road, or photos of them being posted on social media.
Yeah, don't post kids on social media. Please don't do that.
So the difference in parenting styles between the two countries does seem to be cultural. It's simply more normal for German parents to let their children out of sight than American parents.
Yeah.
Tori Book, an American living here in Berlin, is adjusting to the German style of parenting after having her first child here.
I think German parents are just a little more relaxed, a little more chill, like less obsessed with, I have to track everything, I have to know everything about my child, where they're doing things, when they did something, and there's a lot more of an attitude of kids will develop the way they develop and we don't need to be so observant and so careful about tracking every little thing.
Tori tries out her German-inspired parenting style on the playgrounds here, which look a little different from what we're used to in the US.
It's rough.
I love German playgrounds. I think they're amazing. Like, I think the problem in the US is we have a very cookie-cutter notion of, like, a playground has to look like this and have these features, and I feel like here the attitude is a lot more, kids are kids, they love to be creative, they love to explore and have different experiences, and so let's give them really varied playgrounds.
I know what she means. My playgrounds growing up mostly looked like this. Colorful, plastic, not too high, no sharp edges. So I was shocked when I first saw German playgrounds, often metal or wooden with more natural features and lots of character and whimsy. Some are downright terrifying, even for me as an adult. To be honest, the first thought in my American brain was that German playgrounds look like a lawsuit waiting to happen. But I learned that they're actually built with risks involved on purpose. The idea is that,
you know, when you evaluate like a German playground, like, I'm not even trying to, you know, gas the Germans up right now. I'm just being honest. But when you evaluate a German playground, the reality is this, right? When you get on that playground as a child compared to an adult, as an adult, you are nervous, you are fearful, right? But as a child, you're not nervous or fearful. That's the truth, right? If that's what you started out as, right? But if you're a child who experienced a lot more gentle playgrounds, obviously seeing that one is probably going to make you nervous. But the average child is not going to be nervous at a playground. So the reality is, if you're honest with yourself, when you're nervous, things doesn't go as well as they should, because you're not focused. Nervousness and focusedness is not something that goes like that. It's more like that. So I can see how easily this can be zero problems. Easily.
Children who face risks while playing will learn to better manage tricky situations and thus better manage their adult life later. In fact, studies show children who don't face these risks are more prone to things like obesity, mental health issues, a lack of independence, and a decrease in learning, perception, and judgment skills.
Really?
So while Americans tend to build their playgrounds as safe as possible, Germans
That's a crazy statistic, because I'm not obese. I'm pretty solid in my mental health. I'm here, baby. But the reality is, I never grew up on a playground. My parents were hella strict. I never even went outside to hang with the neighbors, my dude. Like, they were hella strict. I was inside most of the times. But I had a wonderful childhood, though it did not involve outsiders. I had a pretty darn amazing childhood because I had a lot of things to my access. But nonetheless, I didn't have all that type of stuff. I didn't have that. No, heck no. I didn't experience none of those things at all.
tend to build theirs as safe as necessary. Even insurance experts in Germany agree. They recommend playgrounds with calculated risks involved, balanced with safety features to promote problem-solving skills. You might think American playgrounds can't look like this because Americans are more likely to sue when their child gets hurt. But actually, despite the stereotype, Americans are less likely to sue than you might think. Only a small percentage of civil court cases in the US actually involve personal injury, and most of those are related to car accidents. The difference is Germans are less likely to win millions in a lawsuit against a playground where their child got hurt. That's because the sense of personal responsibility is strong here, and you're expected to accept the risks at the places where you go.
Okay.
But I was really surprised to learn all this, and I have to say, I prefer the German playgrounds. So how does this all compare to your country? Are children also given this much freedom there? Let us know in the comments.
Nah, I do prefer the German playground. Coming from a guy who, obviously the American style playground, I have experienced it, but it's not something, like I said before, it's not something that I had access to, was crazy. Like, if you go to school, shit like that, in some neighborhood, whatever, you can get to it, but it's not something that, I had mad, oh yeah, I'm there, whatever, every day, whatever. You get the point. But with the German playground, I think it's really good. Freedom, to explore and just be a child. I like when children, get the opportunity to actually be children, because for crying out loud, you're going to be it only one time. You're never going to do that again. So live that life. That's what I would preach. Don't be trying to teach kids nonsense at a young age. All these unnecessary things like politics, all the unnecessary things that adults care so much about. Don't introduce that into a child's life. That's what I would say if I was ever a parent, or I was supposed to ever advise someone. Just let a child roam and be free and just explore and, and just naturally grow. I think, that's something that is very important. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I'm out of here. Peace.